Good evening, bloggers, vloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin here from Dustin's Dynasty with another edition of this week's vlog. This week's been challenging, but we seem to come through the dark side of it and come to a better understanding of things, I guess you would say. It's been quite a week mentally, um, struggling with mental health issues this week, but we've come through them much better, even through external sources or other sources that you may think were unbelievable. Um, One of the things I think that holds me back, and I know it holds me back, is anxiety. And that's why I'm titling this vlog, It's Just the Anxiety. Because there is so many things as an autistic adult, and regardless if you counter the being autistic into it, there are so many things I could do in life, but my anxiety keeps me back. I think that's the thing, and a lot of autistic people, the anxiety that people that we experience as fear of rejection or fear of anything, just a lot of fear of something going bad or something like that. It holds us back, and it can set us into a really um, dark, depressive place, and we don't want to do anything. In fact, it may be hard for me to leave my own home. It was, in fact, this morning it was to go, even just to go to day program, it was very hard. But I did get outside, I did get on the bus. And even when I was there, it was hard. And today sorry, I'm a little nervous and fidgeting, but we were going to an Out of the Darkness walk. And if you're not familiar with that, that is from the American Foundation from Suicide Prevention. And a friend, a colleague of ours was having one. She is the mental health counselor at our local Penn State campus. And I was part of a team, so I knew I knew I wanted to go, but there was part of me in the inside that just didn't want to go, and I guess in the end, I felt I needed to go and be a change in somebody. So I went, and it was quite a blessing that I did go, and you know, um, it's hard to talk about things like suicide and things like that, but and suicide prevention. But you know, it was definitely an eye opener to why you keep going and why you keep pushing yourself to do more things and find out light, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at. It's you don't realize what you don't have until it's gone. And you don't realize the effect it has on others until you hear that story and you hear the stories of those that are left behind. It's not something it's easily talked about, but there, and there's a lot of stigma about getting help for mental health treatment. And sometimes for myself, it's even hard to go and have to hear the hard truth and do the things that you know, are hard, when you have to deal with mental health challenges along with your autistic challenges, because autism is not just it's the social awkwardness and all of those things too, but it's also the fact that you have these other things like depression, anxiety, and so forth that make it challenging to do the things that you need to do to keep moving, even though you may not want to keep moving. But there's a reality that you have to keep moving and you have to keep going, even though you don't want to. It's really been hard the last few days. I think the last week. There's a lot of sleeping. Not things a lot of sleeping more than normal. And I know that's not healthy, and I know I need to keep moving, and that's probably why I decided to jump on here as late as I am. It's only 9:30, but for me that seems like a whole nother universe. But I feel like I need to get this out. I feel like it needs to be said. Um, because it is. And, just, having that feeling of importance and thinking, that what if I hadn't done so many things in my life? What would that be like? What would that look like? Um, it's amazing, people were excited to see me. And I think that is, just one thing that is just one thing, it's exciting to see people and be with people. Yet anxiety keeps me back from doing things like that because it doesn't make me feel like a comforting person. There's a lot of things that I think are, that I feel being rejected or feel like something in the process could go wrong. I feel a lot of things. I feel like it's the most horrible thing on the planet when I have to do something that doesn't make me feel comfortable. And ironically, that's something I know I need to work on, and I really want to work on it. Um, there's so many things I could do if my anxiety didn't get in the way. I mean, I even know just getting out the door this morning was hard, and that was just my anxiety talking. I know I can do it. I know I have to do it. I know that, something like just getting out of the house is a good thing and not sitting up in here cooped up all the time. Um, that's very challenging for me. And it's just not something that I know is healthy or a good thing. Um, but and I could, expand myself so much more, but it's so hard because of the anxiety playing such a role in not allowing myself to um do things that I know I can and should do. And it's just so hard sometimes. I think there's a world of potential for me, and there's a world of potential for many other autistic people as well. But I think, anxiety often holds us back. It's like the feeling like you just don't have control of a situation. And for me personally, many times the feeling that makes me feel comfortable is just running away from the problem or hiding from the problem because that makes me feel comfortable. That makes me want to hide from things that aren't that don't I just don't feel comfortable doing. But sometimes if you fight what you don't feel comfortable doing, it may be good for you. And many times for myself, doing those things, doing some things, make me feel comfortable, like going to work. I would have never dreamed of going to work, especially doing the things that I do. 14 years ago, doing a survey that didn't that didn't seem like a thing to me. Um, you know, it just it just never seemed like something I could do, and it was hard at first. I won't lie, it was very hard, but eventually I got it down pretty good, and it became very familiar to me, and it's a very familiar process, and I don't know how I wouldn't have done it if I hadn't done it, and it makes me feel good doing that and doing what I need to do. Um, it's come a long way in that. And I would have never dreamed I would have done that. I would have never dreamed I went to community college or even got lived on my own. That was things I couldn't even think were possible, but they're happening. But I guess it was fighting my fears and getting over that initial cliff of if you will of wanting to have to do it. Uh, I think sometimes there's a lot of anxiety and worry if you're going to make it out there in the world. Um, you know, it's so hard sometimes. We get the anxiety overpowers our thought process and makes us worry about things that we just can't control. And it's one of those things that we don't think we can control as autistic human beings that quite frankly hold us back and don't want us to they just can't make us, and they hold us back, and they don't want us to do what we know is what we need to do. If you must know, it was probably one or two times before I actually moved out on my own for the first time. I didn't think I could do it. I really didn't. And it's hard to believe that even though I did have, some complications, and some of them were my fault, some of them were not my fault in 2020. But that same year, I got into this home, and it's been over 3 years, and I'm doing amazing. And to say that is a big thing. And people look at me and think, well, that's amazing. He's doing that. But I would have, if you had asked me that 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I don't know if I could have gave you an honest answer as to whether I would have been able to do that either, because that was something that for the longest time, and I think I worked on that for about 5 years before I actually felt comfortable doing it. And I wouldn't have asked it, I don't think, I would have had it in any other way, to be quite honest with you, and to feel as good as I do. But I think, God, I hate to bring, I don't like to bring religion up in my vlogs, but I think God has a way of powering us into getting into the right way. But also, I think, it's hard to fight the anxiety too. And, having that, fighting that fight or flight all the time is a constant worry. And sometimes it's realizing that it's what's keeping me back from doing things that I know I need to do or could do. Um, I hate it. I don't like it. It's scary. It's something that I wish I didn't have to fight, and many times it keeps me back from doing the things that I want to do because it doesn't make me feel like I can do it. And always the anxiety always steps in the way, and it always shuts me down. It wants me to, run away from the fear that I'm feeling, and hide from it and just ignore it. Just like going to the walk today. I didn't want to go. I was afraid it was going to rain. I was afraid of this and that and 20 million other things. And you know what? I did it. And everybody from the event chair to many people were very happy that I did come in, that did come and do it, and fight the way that I needed to do, because that's what you do. You do what you need to do, even though you may want to, or that you feel that, if you're part of a team, such as what I was today, you do it because you were part of a team. And that's what I did. And I feel good that I did it. And I felt good that I got to hear, the stories of the survivors of the young man that died by suicide a few years ago. And you know, that alone sets reason why life is always worth living, whether you think about it or you don't, and whether anxiety gets in the way of you not wanting to do things, or just not wanting to keep going. But there's always a reason to keep going. And I guess that's, I came home, I fell asleep, blah blah blah, but I got up because I knew I had to, and at least stay up a little bit and try to get this done and get these thoughts off of me, because they are thoughts, and they are valid thoughts. I mean, yeah, anxiety is a real thing, and it keeps me back so much sometimes. But in reality, it's what, I know I need to fight and keep do the right thing sometimes, even though it keeps me back from doing what is needed. Um, anxiety is hard, but I am stronger and I will fight it. So I want to thank you for listening today. I know I just rambled, but that was just on my mind, and I think it's on the mind often of autistic people, about anxiety. So if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Be sure to follow me on Facebook, Instagram, X, and Pinterest. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty. I'm on the web. That website is www.dustinsdynastyusa.com. And I'm gonna have a link tree with all my links. That handle is Dustin's Dynasty. Again, I want to thank you for listening today. Be sure to take care of yourselves. Stay safe out there and take care of yourselves. We'll see you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.